Hello everybody, good evening or good afternoon if you are currently located in the United States or anywhere in that region. This is probably an unexpected time to go live. So there was a bit of a mishap with the scheduling happening in the background. I didn't think we would go live today. That is why I, yesterday in the outro, pointed out we're gonna be back on Monday with Elysium and Serein, the two teams you are seeing on stream right now. But yeah, Elysium and Serein kept rescheduling their game a good 3 to 4 times this week, and we didn't keep up, apparently, and they ended up rescheduling it one last time to Sunday instead of Monday, so that is why we're here now. We're also gonna have a very quick pre-game show talk, because the teams have been ready for a good half hour, probably longer than that now, and there's a really funny story attached to this as well. So at 40 minutes ago, so 20 minutes to the last full hour, speaking in these terms, because I don't know what time zones you're all in, but yeah, 9 CET. So 40 minutes ago, I went to do laundry, so I didn't have my phone on me for a good 20 minutes. Milay starts spamming me 2 minutes after I leave, don't have my phone on me, so I can't see any of these messages, so I have to keep it on hold for a good 20 minutes, so everybody is trying to reach out to me. Then all of a sudden Pikz has to do graphic design for the stream, so that is why we're going live now, but can't make an omelette without breaking a few eggs, right? But somehow we've scrambled everything together, like the egg pun continues. And yeah, we've been able to set the stream up now. We are loading into the game already in a good 5 minutes, I want to say. Yeah, as I said, the team's already ready. But yeah, before I digress too much, there's still a second voice you desperately need to hear tonight, because obviously I'm not the only one who's going to be accompanying you for this matchup. This is my warm welcome to, once again, Volkuz. We haven't heard you this week, have we? So I'm very happy to have you back now, finally. Hmm. Volkuz, no one can hear you. I'm amazing. I didn't refresh this call. Now people can hear you.
For the first time?
Yep. Awesome.
Okay.
Huge
Please
waste of
excuse
time.
us. Not to worry, not to worry. All good, all good, all good, all good, all good.
Yeah,
we are here.
I mean, I'm disintegrating right now into a puddle of shame and pity.
No, Mathis, log in.
Okay. And yeah, again, very rush production. I'm brutally sorry. He's been on a tangent for the past 2 minutes. I mean, I can't really let you repeat yourself, because again, the teams are ready to go in. Please, you know what, let's just focus on the set we have up ahead. Repeat what you said about Plague on Family Residence 1, so as we load into the trial, please.
Of course, yes. So as I was saying before, even though you couldn't hear me, now we have Plague on Family Residence 1. Now, Plague normally being played on maps like Suffocation Pit or Azeroth's Resting Place, that are maps that are quite big and have a specific chokehold in the middle, where it is difficult for the survivors to cross, and it creates this interesting game dynamic that the killer cannot allow them to cross, and vice versa. You know, it's a very interesting macro situation that can happen, and it gives a bit of a flavor to an otherwise pretty basic coordination killer like the Plague. Here, however, in Family Residence 1, there is no chokehold to speak of, but the map is still very, very long. It's a very large map, very rectangular in shape also, so our survivors do have quite a lot, and our killers have a lot of distance to cover to get from one side of the map to the other, from the main building to the shack. There's a nice few couple fillers mid-map that can be relied upon, and it does tend to quite heavily spawn gen setups, either on top and bottom. More likely, pretty much guaranteed that you will get a 3 gen around the main building with 1 gen inside and 1 on each other side. So very classic Plague game plan is still applicable in this map, even though it's not common. It's not as common. It is still very applicable to be able to play for your gens on one side of the map, have that little mid-map that doesn't have tiles per se that are so accessible. It's much more filler heavy, so it's definitely more realistic to be able to play for an M1 killer most of the time like Plague, instead of something like a jungle gym, of course. So yeah, I mean, the players, even though this is a more uncommon map, this is a map that has taken off a bit more recently for Plague, so it is absolutely fine. Our players will know what to do, and I think we're just about ready to start loading into this one. We have Elysium first up on the killer, I believe Zaka on the Plague for Team Elysium. Now this is also going to be Team Serein's first time here joining us at Iridescent Divisions League, and they're up against quite a difficult opponent right now. So they definitely have the work cut out for them a bit, Mathis.
I'm really glad you point out the fact that they're first on stage in Revival tournament as well, because, keep in mind everybody with the bracket, it's a 12-team bracket, meaning there's no round of 8, round of 16. This means that it started with a round of 8, but 4 teams were granted a lucky privilege of skipping the initial round. And Serein, one of those lucky few, it's again completely randomized. Could have been any team that would have advanced straight to round 2 and skipped this initial week. So that also means Elysium have to win this week to sort of make that win in week 1 worthwhile, because if you lose here, you go to losers bracket round 1, which is also where you would have ended up had you lost in that initial week. So this is a super interesting concept to me. So the teams that start in round 1 have to win twice, if they want to get any value out of either of their wins. Now, about Plague Family Residence, you've pointed out you've seen this before. Personally, I exclusively see Plague on Suffocation Pit 1.
It is definitely the most common map that you see her on, 100%. But I believe, recently, much more recently, only in the last year or so, I've seen it on Family Residence 2 also, not just Family Residence 1. So both maps are definitely something that is playable. So it's the most important part here is that our players are not... they are used to the map. They understand how kind of it works, how it's laid out, how it should play, give or take. And it's very standard Plague game plan nonetheless, regardless of it not having that architecture that kind of benefits the killer a lot of the time. With the chokehold, it gives the survivors something extra to think about, a little hourglass shape that they have to cross through. So far, though, Team Serein doing a great job of stealthing out. Caster Curse, immediate Caster Curse. We find Haze for our very, very first chase here. Gonna get an infection and an attack onto him. Zaka might opt to leave, but this is not a bad spot for Zaka to take this chase. Knows that there's only this maze tile here to be played. Not too much else to be done, and this is definitely going to be within a gen split that Zaka has already identified. Meanwhile, he's running a very, very standard build with Corrupt Thanatophobia getting hit right over that 50-50 situation, pretty much. Very difficult if you're stuck on that side. Corrupt, Thanatophobia, Eruption, and Pain Res, along with the Apple and Amulet add-ons, I believe, which will allow him a bit of extra duration, which is going to be useful on this map, because if you want to take your power, you're going to have to make it happen. You're going to have to make it work for you. It's going to be quite far. But now this is a great spot to be in, because Zaka, not only does he find Freeze, which I don't believe Haze will be out with this hit. He is ever so barely out with this hit, completely taking away so much of Zaka's early game pressure, and now Haze gets another chance at life. He's still stuck on this top side of the map around the main building, doesn't have too much to play after this pallet. Zaka tries to swing through, but is not able to get it. Usually getting an M1 down on Plague is a luxury, so having being reset to this situation is just so catastrophic for Zaka. However, he's gonna get a good zone here, and Haze, now this is just a matter of juking, keeping distance around this wall. First gen gonna be going down, and it was not looking the best for Serein, but now it is definitely looking a lot better. However, Zaka still gonna be able to hook on this very back block. He doesn't go for the Pain Res with the wow, what efficiency, with the pull right on top of it. But yeah, now Zaka has his work cut out for him for sure.
Oh, just imagine if Quick Gambit had stayed active, but it was so unfortunate for Haze that he was M1 there immediately upon being found, because they kind of jump scared each other, I want to say. Just a very decent mutual headbutt situation behind main there. But yeah, that one hit take Freeze took allowed Team Serein to pop 2 gens, because we did have a quick look at the gen progress during the chase, or the moment Haze went down initially, and we saw they were only at, well, I say only, but they were at 50% on 2 separate generators. Freeze takes the hit, Haze wiggles off, is able to play 2 more tiles next to main, and they pop 2 gens for it. However, now this is where the family residence 3-gen comes to shine as well, and Zaka is just gonna face camp this behind main building. You can kind of think of this as the call tower hook, now I'm looking at it a bit more in detail, because this is basically just the hook behind main, and then you have the generators around. But yeah, now we see the two-man save attempt here by Rats and Mundox, where they have been successful, but yeah, now everybody's injured, and Haze is on a run for his life, manages to get the fast vault by making Zaka believe that he's going to exit main building and escape to the midst of the map here, but loses 1 50-50, and that is going to be Haze on the ground one more time. Eruption not going to do anything just yet. A 3rd generator flies, but now we've got 4 stacks of Thanatophobia, exerting pressure on our survivors, and we don't see anyone healing anytime soon, so that is going to be a decent amount of slowdown. Zaka still has all 4 stacks of Pain Res available too. So, yeah, looking at the the web of generators he has right now, they're not that easy to defend, might I add, because again, that's something I went into detail yesterday, comparing Suffocation Pit to, which map was it again? It's one of the more open maps, but I mean, we can kind of compare Family Residence to Family Residence as well to the Suffocation Pit, because you have those pockets, you're stuck once the killer finds you, and you can't escape left or right. You're stuck in the pocket with the killer on that side of the map here, and they immediately unhook Haze again, hoping that he might make it to the other side of the map, because then our survivors would be able to attack these generators around main. Zaka gets his power, and it's looking really grim for Haze. Do you think even Volkuz, even if he makes it to the other side of the map, will Serein have enough time to pop a generator in Zaka's presumable 3-gen that he runs back into now?
No, I believe that's exactly what happened. We saw that Freeze was sitting on the Shack gen, and we have all 4 stacks of Thanos, so that's a pretty much 20% flat reduction. However, I think Zaka realizes that now he's letting them get a bit too much pressure on the board with this. It's been a lot of time. He needs to make this power go the extra mile, because his other power is on the very other side of the map. Very unlikely that he's ever going to be able to go all the way over there and pick it without really paying the price. And keeping the 4v1 does definitely also keep the extra Thanatophobia stack. We see now Zaka is able to find Haze again, so this could be absolutely huge. There's going to be a lot of pressure on our survivors. 4 Thana still active, Haze still being chased right now, has the Shack in this for him. Something going on, he's not able to get the stun, but Zaka doesn't even get the puke. MX getting picked up, and already on a 75% generator in Zaka's 3 gen. Zaka still has 4 pain reses though, but can he realize, does he have the game sense to pick this up and try to go for PR? He gets freeze with the last few seconds, presumably of his power, gonna kick this, but he's gonna lose this top gen. That is so really not the most worthwhile situation to be in. This is gonna be a few stages that he's gonna be able to get out of here. So he's gonna get Haze out and dead with the pain res that is presumably nearby. Then I'm not sure if they're gonna make this pick in time, but yeah, this gen split is now incredibly far. This map is huge long wise, so Zaka really does not have any means with the plague to be able to go and defend both of these generators. His best pick right now is to get rats down, pick this power, or vice versa, use the power that he has around here on this side of the map, and just pray for the best. 4k0 even a possibility if this goes well for them. However, rats forcing the locker, very key moment there to force the locker so that we cannot slug all the way back to MX getting the pickup onto freeze. Regardless, there's been a bit of a resetting pressure. There's been a lot of back and forth in the last couple minutes. But yeah, this gen split now is about the time where it's going to come back to bite Zaka. Of course, since Haze also died, we're now locked at 3 stacks with an autophobia, so we're not going to get the full 20%. We're going to get, I believe, 8 or 12%, something of the sort, with the stacks remaining. And now, finally getting an opportunity to pick this power. So important to have a moment to pick the power, Mathis, on play, because otherwise you just can't really get much done, especially where you're in a situation where you can't apply too much pressure with your M1. Still a lot of good resources left on the map.
And the fact everybody's injured is also just gonna make his power so much stronger. I can't imagine Zaka trying to solidify the status quo of the trial at the moment and just go from gen to gen, apply eruption, and only then maybe commit to chases here. But if Freeze presents himself on a silver platter, then Zaka's going to be the last one to deny what has been put up for him. And a cheeky snipe attempt to once again. It did land on Freeze earlier. Ooh. It will land once more. Last time we saw it curve around the rock, kind of. This time it goes straight over. But our teammate, about ours, there's no way. The timing. Did you see that? No, that was 99, man. Oh, bonkers. It's super unfortunate for Serein here. That should have popped, and I'm pretty sure they also felt like they had just popped it because we saw Mundox, I think they're holding W away from the generator, assuming they were gonna pop it in Zaka's face, but then that pain res hits in the nick of time. It's incredible.
Yeah, for sure. And now at the point, this is the point of the game where Zaka wants to really collect up the stages, needs to find MX to get another fresh hook in. Unfortunately, can only find rats, and I believe he's probably out of power by now. No more corrupt purges on the map. Loses the 50 on this maze tile. Is rats going to be able to pull up the chase of a lifetime? The pull has happened all the way on the other side of the map, but rats simply doesn't have much to play with around here anymore. And now it's looking really back to be in favor of Zaka in a certain way. It's a bit of an awkward situation because Zaka can now hook on this active generator that has a lot of progress in it, that's now taking a good nice eruption. If he spends too much time looking for MX here, who's undoubtedly going to be pre-positioned for the pool, either MX or Freeze in Zaka's mind. If he spends too much time here, he's going to lose his other gen. If he doesn't spend time, then he risks the pull happening, the insta-stack, and if he's all the way bottom, he might not even make it back to defend the generator. Instead, does the absolute best thing that could have happened in this situation, which is find MX's scratch marks, and now he can freely commit this. He knows that one of the gens is going to pop at some point, something's going to happen. Freeze has to rotate all the way from Shack, so he's bought himself a lot of time. So even if Freeze is able to go get that pull and then they stack, that's still going to be a good 40 seconds more likely than not, or sorry, excuse me, more like 20 to 30 seconds that Zaka has free. Now just holding distance around this, trying to stop him from making this pallet. Is he going to be able to? Whiffs barely at the last second, but now the pull comes in. This will help Zaka adjust the timing in his mind, now knowing when the pull came. Still has a bit of time, but I feel like regardless of what happens here, regardless how hard MX keeps winning these chases, these jiggies, everything's kind of going in his favor right now. Wins the fake again. MX is absolutely on fire, and this is buying time for the precious last generator stack. Zaka, does he want to leave? No, he realizes that he can't. He needs to get the max amount of stages out of this situation possible. Finally wins a chase interaction with MX. Final generator also going to be popping. Seeing where the gates are, yeah, having a hook right now would, right here in this area, would make it pretty much impossible and would solidify our result here of, I believe this is 8-4.
If Mundox ends up passing on this hook here, then that pretty rough result for our survivors, considering how good this could have been had that pain resonance just not hit a literal half second before it had popped. The timing was incredible, and I mean, Volkuz, I don't think they can save this now. Obviously, they're both injured. They might try to cure themselves here. I say cure because that is the correct term, by the way.
Actually.
Exactly. I just hear everybody say cleanse. It's cure. Or, no, you want to know something I love? Whenever you play with anyone from the Russian bloc, or anyone who speaks Russian, they say clean themselves. It's also wonderful. They say the same thing to totems. They say clean totems. It's beautiful. But yeah, now they're in such a rough position because they have to cure. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, they're never going to get the save. Being injured, Zaka can just stand still in front of it. They'll never be able to get this unhook. But they kind of have to go for ONYX here. Considering he was one of the two freshest beside Freeze, I can imagine Zaka trying to get a bit greedy now with Freeze because he's got nothing to lose. The Exegate is pretty close though, so he will not be able to 2-tap even if he manages to rapid fire as the Plague with her Puke. Unless, yeah, I mean, had Rats got hit there, then he could have been 2-tap before making the exit gate, but he dodges masterfully. But now instead the chase redirects onto Freeze and ONYX, and they need to both make it out. Otherwise, this is not going to be worth it whatsoever. See, ONYX trying to take a hit for the about to be injured Freeze now as well, who's made it all the way to main, but that exit gate is still really, really far away. He has eyes on the target, but it's further than it may seem. It's really difficult to get out now. He's about to get injured, probably. I mean, he's got Urban, so he's going to be able to move much faster without taking that injury. But it might just seem like he's starting to send it now.
I think he realizes he's getting zoned around where he is right now, but Zaka instead not looking to Freeze anymore, instead looking to Rats. If Rats dies here, this is going to be the same exact result as if MX were to have died. So no love lost really for Serein. We just can't lose another survivor on top of this. Should be impossible. Should not be able to. Should not happen here.
This is too tappable.
Unlikely, surely. Surely this doesn't happen. Even if we take the hit right now, yeah, there's no way we're making it out, but there's also no way we're heal taking this. How did you miss that? How does that even happen? Hitbox is in Dead by Daylight, but yeah, now we're going to be picking up Rats, and it's still going to be the same 9-4 result that we saw, and I believe, yeah, 9-4 is quite a lot of stages to be giving over to Plague in a situation like this. I think the potential for 4K was never really quite there with how the match happened after the early game, where I believe it was Hayes was able to be freed from that hook. It would have been a completely different game if he was not able to wiggle. But being able to wiggle there really just took away the full potential of the 4K there from Zaka. But still, being able to flip around this result from what was looking like could have been low stages even to now being 9 stages for Fresh. That's a lot. Needing 10 stages on Plague is quite a heavy requirement for Team Serein's killer going into the flip side of the set. And yeah, just it was able. They looked like they were doing so well in the early game. They were not getting found until there was a bit of a jump scare, and then after that, Hayes got infected. Hayes couldn't have it too much of the best chase. Had a decent chase regardless, but couldn't have the best chase. Used a lot of the resources around the main building, so that was just kind of gone for all future chases. Thankfully, they were able to coordinate enough to break the 3-gen. Zaka did let them do it just a little bit, but I think overall it was worth it to solidify getting a high amount of stages.
Yeah, the reason why I wanted to put this first chase on replay is it just shows really nice game knowledge here by Zaka. Because he knows the moment he forces this pallet down, Hayes will not have an angle with the camera. So, yeah, we're about to see it right now. So right now he's kind of able to see around both corners as long as he doesn't drop it. But the moment he drops it, he doesn't get clear line of sight around the corners. So yeah, Zaka doesn't even need to do much. He needs to moonwalk around one side, and as you've pointed it out already, it's sort of a 50-50 situation. When this pallet is not dropped, it's super safe. The only thing Zaka can really do is force it at a bad timing and then go around the shorter side. But once it's down, Zaka's got free reign on this tile. So he knew this very, very clear, and he took full advantage of it, and that's how he was able to get that down onto Freeze at the start. But there's so many moments we can cover in this game, really. It was a fantastic display of for both Killer and Survivor. Now we're right now back in the mid-game when everybody was injured. I'm pretty sure this is where ONYX goes down the corner, yes. But yeah, Hayes gets found again, and this is it's just the amount of pressure Zaka was able to build up here. So, the perk value here that I thought was fantastic. Look at the 5 move ahead value. Beautiful. Immediately able to move again, avoids that corrupt purge, but then yeah, gets hit over right here. And then Zaka's able to connect this right back to Freeze as well, who's been working on this generator on Shaq this entire time. Who gets there hit somehow around the corner. You know, that hits, but the exit game puke doesn't. So that's just weird.
Just classic play gameplay right there. And yeah, I think Zaka being able to get the down onto freeze and then go right back for haze was just a it was a high risk high reward play, because there was definitely the safe play of picking up the person you just down, hooking them on pain risk, hooking them right near the top side generators. But again, now you risk losing your tunnel out completely, having them parked on shack gen or something, and then you really are in a lot of trouble. You're not going to be able to get the 3v1 anytime soon. So Zaka had to take a bit of a risk to not have as much pressure going on in terms of not getting the hook in the area he wanted, but instead trading that for pressure of somebody needs to rotate now to pick up that slug, and somebody also and we also need to think about the fact that we're going to be going 3v1 sooner rather than later. And one unique part of Plague as well is the fact that because people are usually infected and broken, or simply just in a or simply injured, then hit tanks are just not really available. So it's so much more up to individual chases to end and be in the right spot overall. And it's very much up to the survivors to be able to coordinate that death spot, because it's not about taking a hit anymore, it's about taking it down from someone, and that is just so much more impactful. It requires a lot more of the other survivors already on the map to come in, try to fix up the mess, try to make something happen, and it can become a very, very slippery slope. So you just let your teammate chase and hope that they do a good enough job against M1 Plague. If it's Plague in power, you can only really juke and pray. But yeah, a perk like 5 moves ahead gives so much value in all situations that you don't even expect it to. But it's one of the most interesting perk additions they have done for Survivor recently, for sure. It creates so many situations and is very applicable to. I think we find more and more situations every single time I watch a match. There's a different situation to go somewhere and do something with 5 moves ahead that just wins the chase or makes the chase much more in favor of the survivor. So yeah, love to see it overall. We're gonna see it here again. Boom. Now you suddenly don't get hit by that. You make the extra distance around the filler. Can't really shoot over this filler. You're kind of almost playing this like Artist, where you're kind of you have to pick a good timing to get over the part that they can shoot you over, and try to work it out this way. But again, difficult for Haze here. I think he did honestly did the most he could in that situation. Zaka zoned him away from the shack window, and yeah, not really much else to be done there.
5 moves Z also just opens up this new conversation, I want to say, about animation blocks. That is the moment when you start an animation, you are forced to be sitting in this animation for a good second or two. And 5 moves ahead sort of, drastically, I mean, not sort of, it does drastically reduce that animation lock, exactly this. And that is what killers play off of when they 50-50 around towers, or try to bait, try to force you to vault. Because once they force you to vault, you technically can't move or decide where you're gonna move the next second. And that is time enough for the killer to catch up and get that M1 on you. But yeah, later in the trial as well, the one thing I really want to show again, where it sort of all fell apart, almost, right when this pain res hits. The timing again, I want to focus on this. So
God.
yeah, being carried, boom. I mean, look at this. Hang on, trying to time. Yeah.
That has to be one of the closest pain raises I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, it does not get any closer than that.
And that's just ridiculous, yeah. And then we see a distraught ONYX here sprinting away from the generator, assuming it's already popped, but ONYX is also a very survivor who decides to lock in this late game. This chase that he had with Zaka at the later stages of this trial, we pointed out, or you pointed it out very clearly, that ONYX getting found here is horrible, because obviously he's one of the 2 last men standing, and now being in chase. But also this perk value, look at this, Eyes of Bailment, alert combination. Zaka's trying to mind game this so bad, ONYX just stays still, has clear line of sight on him the entire time. Zaka thinks, okay, now I got him, now I close the gap, I make the swing, and he doesn't, because he had aura review that entire time. And ONYX continues the chase, doesn't have clear line of sight on him, wins the 50, wins another 50, and then ditches the tile. At a really nice timing, makes it to the next one. We're gonna see this rinse and repeat multiple times now. A fantastic window fake here, boom! Zaka falls to it, and then ONYX also just again pretends to stay on it, but ditches immediately. Zaka goes around the long way, and this is where I also lose track of Zaka, so I go back to his camera, but then yeah, he finally puts an end to his chase here by winning the 50 on the pallet. And again, it's this animation lock here that he knows, yeah, okay, he's not gonna be able to move now, so I'm just gonna be able to swing around and get him.
Yeah, we play a lot around animations, and we have created a lot of ways to also try to use them to our advantage to get around them more. For example, like you do the emote tech at the exit gate, you do to get a more favorable position while you're being slugged, get that extra distance, don't be locked in animation, don't get backflipped. There's so much that we play around animations with this game, and that's one of the interesting things of having a game like Dead by Daylight, which is more niche, but it's also quite studied. And because the game has been, it's more static in its core mechanics ever since the major survivor movement update, excuse me, back, I don't even know how many years ago now. Was it back 2020? 2020?
Well, 2021.
Like 2021, where the movement of the survivors changed over 5 years ago now, and ever since then not really much has changed in that regard. So players with a lot of experience, and this is not even for players in high comp, even most of our pub players will know about point taking and animation canceling and heal taking and so many other little situations that are technically most applicable in comp, but definitely come up often in the day-to-day gameplay also. But again, that is now the end of Zaka's turn on the killer, and we now have our killer for Team Serein. I'm not exactly sure who they've got on the killer right now. Do you know, Mathis? Who we've got on killer?
Of course I do. It is Emily, or also known as Urushi, Serein's main killer, besides, I'm pretty sure it's Freeze who picks... I've seen Freeze on Rats. Really, that's how I'm going by. Oh yeah, Rats, of course. Rats is Nurse. Can't forget about that.
No,
it's gonna be Emily.
Mad Nurse. Don't get confused now.
Oh yeah, they have Metal 5 on the roster now.
Yes, Mad Nurse, we have Rats Artist, Rats Twins, and Urushi on most of the others, I believe.
It used to be Rats on Nurse, okay? I
no, you can
understand that. It's very true. It's very correct that I'm catching strays here, but it used to be Rats all the time. But yeah, they've recently added, I think a month or two ago, Metal 5 joined the team. So Metal 5, I mean... Do we have... He might play later, so I don't really want this to be the stage for him just yet. So, yeah, let's just focus on the game we have at hand. It's gonna be Emily, Plague, or Rushi, representing Team Serein.
All right, forgive us. Maybe a bit of technical difficulty there. I think Mathis's internet decided to go a little bit papa for a second there, but do please excuse us. I hope you can all hear me fine as now we have loaded in with Urushi on our maybe a Discord issue instead. Never mind. But we have now Urushi on the Plague, exactly the same build I believe that we saw on the Zaka. As we're now heading into the early game, it's very classic, very classic. And now we're just going to spend some time looking around for the stealthing survivors on the Corrupt. The longer they stealth it, the better for them. If they can get the full perk out, fantastic. If not, then is a lot to happen. But we see Zin already on the generator, actually, so maybe we're going to be playing a little bit more aggressively than that.
Yeah, and right now we also already have tech on a... Yeah, I was going to say on a totem, but it's on dual totem, because, yeah, we did see Emily not really equip anything. So it's going to be activating Overzealous here. That might just give him a lot of, bonus time throughout this trial, which is probably going to help him drastically, especially in a play game where, again, the killer needs to cover so much ground. Because, yeah, the Plague doesn't really have any... advanced, enhanced movement... or, yeah, dashes, etc. in her kit, so obviously she's gonna have to walk by foot everywhere. So tech with Overzealous is gonna help quite a lot, but he's the one survivor. He should not be found first, because, I mean, Volkuz, what happens when you get hit with Overzealous active?
Does it go away?
Yes.
I didn't even know.
It's the same as Quick Gambit.
I actually, I don't think I've ever ran Overzealous. I don't think I've ever coded in my build, funnily enough. But yeah, tech being able to dodge the M1, gonna be taking the injury now. Regardless, it seems that Urushi is right back on Tech's tail, though. Gonna want to make something happen here on this chase, and Tech. Yeah, we have the power in hand also, so it's very difficult to play around any consistent loops. And I think Tech just kind of has to accept their own, that they're going to take a hit right now, try to make it happen. If we can greed and maybe get a stun, that would be absolutely huge. That will probably kill Urushi's game right in their track. However, going to be able to get that down onto Tech. Still no Thanatophobia really in play yet, and we see Zaka and Xenon, two separate 50% advance and slashing on. We're gonna go for the on to we want to go keep Jared rotate.
I love Discord. I love Discord.
Discord problems, okay.
Yeah, but you're fine. You can keep going.
All right, fantastic. Where was I? Yes, Ivan getting found there is actually quite disastrous. Urushi still having the power? No, doesn't have the power core yet. Tech gonna be able to absorb that hit, but now after Zaka pops, he's gonna need to go and help out to try to get Ivan back up off the floor, but it looks like Urushi actually has no interest in continuing the commitment onto there. Gonna instead take the slug here, go all the way to the top. Knows that tech cannot be reset simply because now they are fully infected and broken. So we're instead gonna take that hit while Team Elysium tries their best to reorganize themselves, get back on generators since we only have one completed right now, get progress, and hopefully not get another savior found before this unhook.
Gotta say, this is going crazy well for Emily right now. I mean, we've got... Had it been tech after, but this is already 2 stages at 4 generators remaining, and also, I'm not sure if that was the play to run edge map with a corrupt purge right then and there, because that is a very clean 2-tap that Emily is going to get here. Zaka will be picked up, obviously the locker force to try and deny a complete falling apart right around this hook. Zaka's going to be the 3rd fresh, however, already, and Emily does not need to 4K, so this is a really good amount of stages. There's now 3 survivors. If you find them again, they'd be tunnel out after. They'd be dead on hook. Also, I do have to apologize. It's just, we've got scheduling issues, we've got technical difficulties as well, but it seems to me that all you see is violence in movies on TV. No. I had to. But yeah, it seems it's all fine again. So yeah, you can hear me just fine, you can hear Volkuz just fine, so. And now it's also Xeno being found, so this could be 4 freshes at 4 gens remaining.
I mean, getting 4 freshes is definitely a big step in the game for Emily, but the only issue is that when you're not progressing a tunnel, you're not really threatening that 3v1, especially on a huge map like this, will you have the pressure mid to late game to be able to try to get all the way to 10 stages? Is missing the fast fault or maybe hesitating a little bit, maybe expecting a double back? Now Rushi gonna be able to break this pallet, also getting rid of this very strong tile that is actually unique to the Yamaoka realm, and now gonna take their 4th fresh hook. Maybe another pain resonance coming out. We have another generator very nearly ready to go. Tech refreshing that overzealous, wants to get that sweet extra action and speed over here. Ivan rotating around, maybe even going for the unhook. We see Zaka gonna start a gen very near this hook though, however, so if Zaka is found here by Emily and zoned from reaching the bottom side of the map, this could be big problems as we could end up with Zaka being slugged right on top of Xeno's hook. However, Zaka smart to pre-leave, but is not aiming to go bottom. Maybe wants to reach this pallet and believes that he from here can in fact make it all the way bottom and be absolutely okay with that. In fact, actually get stunned. We have Chem Trap. This could be enough, but we did also get the unhook coming through onto Xeno. So now not too big of a deal there. In case of now that Xeno is no longer hooked there, it should not be as problematic even if Zaka were to get down, but that is not the case, and we need to... Problem is now we still need to double our amount of stages and then some to get a win here. Only 2 generators left and 4 survivors still alive. We have the 4th Ana. We're gonna need some sort of map pressure snowball here because Urushi is just not going to be able to keep up with this gen split for that much longer.
And Urushi's trying their absolute hardest to win just 1 mind game on this main building, because 1 is really all it would have taken. With everybody injured, it's so easy to snowball and make the game turn your way. But of course, our survivors of Elysium have decided to now split much more organized throughout the map. So this is going to be a big challenge for Emily to keep up. It's going to be really difficult. Again, as I pointed out earlier, Plague doesn't have any movement modifiers in her kit. And it's also not running any perks that would give her movement speed in any way, so it's gonna be a lot of ground to cover. It's gonna be Tech found 1 more time. I don't think he makes this window. Yeah, Urushi is gonna get the down. It would be the 5th stage of the trial. But it looks like we're slugging as well, which, not so sure about that, because of course if you hook, you manage to lock in that point that you so desperately need. But also, this is a very fortunate position for tech to go down, because it's kind of like a mini hook where the survivors now also have to dedicate so much time running over to the other side of the map just to get this pickup, and they will be forced, obviously, to do it sooner or later. They can't just leave tech on the ground. You see, Ivan You know, I caught myself there. I love that he immediately pointed out. See, Ivan Cure here. Be healed one more time. Get rid of that infection, and that's also going to cancel out Thanatophobia, which is probably the strongest slowdown Urushi have in their kit. So, yeah, you need to get rid of that immediately. Ivan gonna be able to avoid this hit just now, and...
Oh my god!
And another... No Thanatophobia value just yet. And that is Zarka's generator very close to popping. Tech still waiting to be picked up. I can imagine Xeno, yeah, going for it now, speak of the devil. Ivan not taking the injury there. And I want to say, missing out on that Thanatophobia value may have just turned the tide for Elysium.
I think that we're seeing a situation right now where Urushi cannot possibly come back from this. We have two generators that are right next to each other that are both over 80% progress here. There was the Repressed Alliance stopping Urushi from kicking this gen. And now the whole issue becomes that the only real tool that Urushi would have to regain some map pressure here is to put somebody, hook them right between these two generators. Ivan not getting even injured there is such a big problem. We're not gonna be able to get the pull from where Ivan cleansed though. So this is the double-edged sword of cleansing against Plague. Yes, you're getting rid of that Thanatophobia stack and you're getting rid of that overwhelming gen speed debuff, but it's simply not going to be enough. The slug on tech was the correct play. I think we need to build map pressure somehow. Even if we hook tech, it doesn't really matter. We need 10 stages, so getting from 4 to 5, not really adding much. We need to get the extra pressure and try to go back towards the active area. Can't waste the time hooking. But then again, there's also not really much else to be done right now. We just could not establish any way to get into the 3v1 and simply just could not also establish the pressure to continue stopping these generators from being worked. Zaka doing a great job juking all around here. Urushi trying every single tool in their arsenal to be able to grab Zaka throughout this crack, somehow get this. Zaka simply never needs to drop this now, because any single survivor from Team Elysium could, there we go, any survivor could die, and that would be absolutely fine. That would still be the win for them, and they would have to make a massive mistake here so as to not get the out required. And now, simply because there is no more generators to be done, all they need to do is get out the exit gate. They are free to cleanse, and they might even try to pull this, but I severely doubt it. They would have nothing to gain from this, I believe. So depending on where the exit gates are also, I believe they are more likely towards to be on the bottom side of the map. I can't quite see them. Xeno, however, coming in from the sidelines, main character Xeno coming in to take the unhook here. And you know what, we're gonna donate an extra stage to Urushi, because why not? And who can very comfortably afford to just pick this up and get another stage on the board right now. We see Ivan doesn't want any part of it anymore. It's like, Xeno, you've lost your damn mind. We are not trying to save anything else anymore. And that is going to be the win for Elysium on their pick of Plague into the first set. And then they're going to be looking to move into our next set, which, remember, is Nurse on Cold Tower 2.
I mean, this result ended up being really bloody close, didn't it? We've got to let's just compare it real quick. We have a 7 to 9 stages on both sides, so this could have gone either way. Emily had such a good early game, but it all fell apart in the middle of it, in the midst of it. With Elysium just being able to split the generator so much better than Serein, and Serein also got snowballed a bit harder on the survivor side. It was really Mundox taking it all back at the later stage of the trial. But yeah, with Elysium, 9 stages that Zaka was able to get compared to Serein's 7 is obviously going to take the win in this initial set. And we do have to keep in mind as well, this is Elysium's pick, so don't want to say this was to be expected, but obviously they had a bit more momentum coming into this trial, considering if you pick a certain killer, then you are expected to be decent on it as well. I have at least beat your opponent on experience, beat them on skill, in any kind of way. You need to have an advantage. That's why you pick killers to begin with. This ended up being really close, which I really didn't expect. Both of these survivor teams played fantastically well, but yeah, Elysium were just ahead of the curve here. Really unfortunate. And we can highlight some of these moments as well by going into a quick replay of the previous trial before we move on to this Nurse set that you're really excited to see, because honestly I am as well, because it's Cold Tower 2, not 1.
Yeah, Cold Tower 2 no 1 has been. I'm gonna save the Cold Tower 2 talk, even though I do want to talk about it. I want to look at what happened in this past game right now, because Rushi had a lot of momentum in the early game, was able to really establish themselves in the early game. Gonna get a lot of hooks, a lot of fresh hooks, but that's the problem. You having a 4 fresh win con means, okay, let's go get 4 fresh at some point, right? But if you get that all early, you're not really putting that pressure on the survivor to the survivors to be scared that, oh, okay, we're gonna go 3v1 soon, we need to play differently. No, they can keep playing 4v1, max distancing around everything, and there's always gonna be the ability to have one survivor in chase or hooked or slugged, then another survivor can then go and reprimand the situation, pick up, unhook, anything, reset, anything they can do. But then you still have 2 survivors working generators, which is just way too much pressure on the survivor side. That's why we always want to go 3v1 as fast as possible. We see here on your screen now Tech doing a pretty good job overall lasting against Plague in Power. Plague in Power is very, very difficult to last against. And one of the key differences also that we can see between Suffocation Pit and Family Residence is that the tiles aren't as tall and solid as well. So the walls that you end up finding here are a bit harder to play around when it comes to dodging the power. You can't really hold your distance as well. The fillers can be a bit shorter sometimes. They don't have that jagged geometry, but Tech did a fantastic job being able to last as long as possible. But it's quite unfortunate because I really do think Emily played this very, very well and had a lot of opportunities. But when you're up against a team, Plague is one of those killers that can feel very powerless. Even if you have good pressure going, it's really up to the survivors to make mistakes more than it is for you to play incredibly well. And that's why we don't tend to see Plague 4K so much. We do occasionally get the all 4K one. It's more on Suffocation Pit than you would see on a Yamaoka map, but you can occasionally get a 4K result, but most of the time you're expecting mid to high stages from Plague. So having to go up with a 10-stage result is quite difficult, and kind of no matter what you do, unless they really make a mistake on the tunnel out. And obviously you just never chase Ivan because he clearly is allergic to being hit by the puke. He has a magnet. The opposites do not attract in this situation. The survivor can never be hit clearly. I don't know, Ivan played his cards perfectly.
Volkuz, I think you got your vocabulary twisted. He's not allergic to being hit. I think he's vaccinated. Can't get
even better. Yeah,
he's the only one that came prepared.
He was ready. He did his homework. Listen clearly, so put Ivan on Plague set forever and ever now. Never gets off of it. That's it. He's doomed.
And again, we have to highlight, based on the perks that we have, or that we're looking at on the side here on the bottom right, how crucial it was that Ivan didn't get hit here. Because this would have been the 4th Thanos deck. And Thana goes from, I'm pretty sure it's 2% per person. And then it goes up to 20 once that 4th person is hit. Because they did change it quite a bit, where only once every single survivor is injured, that it actually does affect the game much more drastically.
Yeah,
and Ivan not getting it there. Yeah, please go ahead.
I have the stats right now, so I'm going to read you exactly what the perk says. For each injured, down, or hook survivor, all survivors cleanse totems 2% slower, repair 2% slower, and sabotage hooks 2% slower. While 4 survivors are either injured, down, or hooked, all above actions are additionally 12% slower. So overall, you can count it pretty much to be a 20%, 18%, which is, we'll round it up to 18% overall reduction in repair speed, which is what matters most here. Of course, it doesn't slow down resetting, but there's no resetting happening in the Plague set anyway. So absolutely, a bombshell of a perk, very advantageous. So it's usually you end up getting the value that you get everybody infected. It's a bit of a luxury for that not to happen, but when it happens, you need to be able to stave it off and be able to play around it, which Elysium did a great job. Picked good times to cleanse, and of course Ivan's hero moment made it all come together. But now, Mathis, we're loading into Nurse on Cold Tower 2. And what do you feel are going to be the key differences for Nurse on this map versus her standard Cold Tower 1?
And first of all, gotta say, I apologize for my blasphemy. Of course, it's Metal 5 on the Nurse for Serein, not neither Rats nor Rushi. Cold Tower 2. The main reason, gonna have to come clean about this, that I picked this map is Cold Tower 1 is a snooze fest, man. I see this exact match a million times in every tournament. It's the staple, I am aware, and I love playing it. It is, to me, the most fun map to play Survivor on. Again, I also just love playing against Nurse. But Cold Tower 1 every single time can become redundant I feel. So I want to switch it up with Cold Tower to perhaps a little bigger, as far as I know, and you don't have that very standard classic web of this. I mean, if anyone wants to get started on callouts, competitive callouts, you look at Cold Tower 1, because that map is just fantastic for it. Cold Tower 1 has exactly 12 tiles. So that is exactly one number, one callout per tile, plus shack and main. So it's just perfect. 12 would be behind main, main is main, and then you can just kind of go by it. But yeah, that's enough callouts. I'll spare you with, because personally I'm also not a big fan of using callouts when I cast. But yeah, I'm curious to see this. I think the gens are a bit split further out, as you can see it right here. We don't have these classic up to 5 gen webs that we get around main building. Tech being very aggressive, you're running into the middle of it. Doesn't have that decisive strike, which I was expecting here, considering he just ran open field. But does have sprint burst resurgence, so it's kind of decisive strike mini. He gets healed off hook, as long as the nurse isn't there immediately, that is. But yeah, what do you think? I mean, we're sitting the first down now, so could be talking about something else, obviously, but what do you think about Cold Tower 2?
I mean, Cold Tower 2, again, I'm not going to delve into it too much because there's a lot happening in the actual game, but all I will say about Cold Tower 2 is that in comparison to Cold Tower 1, it doesn't tend to spawn the same aggressive 3-gen. You can have a pretty aggressive 3-gen towards the shack with this gen that we see Xeno working on here, able to stun Mad mid-blink. That's going to pick a great time for the unhook to come through, and more likely than not getting daily charged up. And now we will see why Resurgence is technically the greatest anti-tunnel perk in the game, simply because now Tech is immediately healed up, has that Sprint Burst in hand, able to take his chase wherever he wants. And yeah, look at that, walking around for the Sprint Release. Then we find Ivan, who has the Overcome, also very strong exhaustion perk here, especially against the Nurse, who distance is king against Nurse, but Ivan is just untouchable today, just going straight through, and Mad realizes, yeah, there's no point in that chase. That is most likely than not deadly. So let me go back and try to progress the tunnel out onto Tech. You will also notice that we have Pop Eruption Call of Brine on the Nurse, which is not something that would usually be allowed in a lot of other leagues you may have seen. However, in our league, we tend to give everybody a few more perks, both on the killer and the survivor side. Yes. So do not be too alarmed. It is absolutely normal. We expected this, and our players are gonna, for sure, make great value of the little extras they have been given. We see now Mad gonna be finding Tech once again, committing this chase, continuing it on all the way to the edge map, and Tech has no other option, has nothing really else to last on. We have 2 generators pretty much going down here almost. I say that we haven't quite popped it yet, but Zaka's generator is quite high progress. I can only imagine there is another one somewhere that is being worked on as well, since Ivan and Xeno have not reset. Ivan just starting on one, and Xeno is right here. What am I watching right now, Mathis?
Okay. At least he's able to get the hook in. Tech gets the blind on hook as well, and Metal 5 almost lost the generator and the hook. Just saying. But yeah, unfortunately not enough wiggle progress for Tech, so that will be the second stage onto him, and a potential tunnel out. Yeah, you grunt for a very good reason, because Metal 5 tried to second blink up main to interrupt this generator, but has to sacrifice another flurry of blinks here. Has to wait out the recharge and then blink up with his first, and just is gonna waste a couple extra seconds, but he will be able to apply that Pop Eruption Call of Brine on that generator as well. This is a really interesting combo to watch personally as well. I'm really curious to see how this is gonna pan out in the grand scheme of things. Also, just the combination of Will Make It and Resurgence that we saw Tech being healed by. I mean, that's might as well just call it for the people without the broken.
Pretty much. And one slight thing I want to talk about for a second is that I think Mad played a bit too passively right here. I think he was slightly overwhelmed by how aggressively Elysium was playing on the serve side while he was trying to hook Tech. That he had 3 injuries, worried a bit about the main gen progress, but he should have definitely gone and tried to find the reset, would have been able to establish a lot more pressure. Even if he was to give this unhook, that would have been absolutely fine if he was going to be able to get another down for it. However, no, Ivan being traded, Tech going to be able to dodge that, has the extra 10% speed from the extra 10% speed from the being unhooked, the borrow time, the status effects that we all now beautifully get. But now that is going to be the final down coming out onto Tech. And one thing now that we're seeing this Nurse gameplay, when I'm saying, oh, that's not going to work.
Oh!
No, that does not work anymore, unfortunately. You cannot be on that side. Pallet saves are very, very difficult to get in the current state of Dead by Daylight, especially if the killer is aware and knows how to place themselves onto it. And now we're going to a 3v1 at 3 gens with no significant progress and all 3 survivors injured. So this is a fantastic spot for Matt to be. So we did have that last generator apparently popping, forgive me. But now we have 2 generators left and no significant progress now. Zeno gonna be cleansing a totem on the offside, probably inner strength there, trying to get that reset coming through because we cannot stay injured for too long here. Zaka more likely than not on the plot twist, and now Ivan gonna be trying to last for as long as possible. Hopefully both of these survivors get healthy by the time this hook comes out and we're able to have a bit more chance of getting down the score to a few less generators remaining. Ideally you want to see outs on Modern Nurse. Ideally you want to see outs. You don't tend to see the 4Ks that you used to see back in the day. Most of the time now we see stages out the door, but yet again this is not really a stages out the door situation. I need to look at the gens real quick, but if Mad decides to check this generator and fight Zeno, we could be in a lot of trouble because we're going to lose every single bit of generator progress, of generator potential pressure we have. Ivan going to be using that Deliverance finally, which is a very, very strong tool in their arsenal. I almost forgot he had that for a moment there. I thought Zeno was going to have to rotate. It's actually Zaka. My mistake. Oh my god, disorienting to see Nurse on a different map, excuse me. But yeah, if we can make this chase last, get the life distance off, this is absolutely fine position to be in for the survivors, and we could then be seeing stages out the door. Especially if Mad whiffs that and now Zaka gets max distance with the Fog Vial. Fog Vial is so brutal against Nurse Mathis.
Oh yeah, 100%, because obviously it doesn't just shroud your field of view, it's got another couple effects, because it, for example, also hides the scratch marks. But yeah, Zaka also just used that trait really, really nicely, avoided Mad's hit on... Oh my goodness! The vaccine! It's too powerful. I mean, how the hell did he just win that? I don't think we've seen that on... We have seen that with Mastermind yesterday, however. And also, this is just such a Metal 5 blink. I have personally been hit by this exact blink so many times in the past. This exact corner tile that you have, this sort of Roman numeral 1 shape, I want to say. Metal 5 just sends it. No, it's edge map. If he doesn't hit that blink, let's say Ivan immediately double backs it. He's back in the map and Metal 5 has 0 line of sight. So he could just make it back to another tile, but Matt just sends it. He just sends it edge map. And somehow it lands, because nobody expects it. So I really, really appreciate Metal 5's super aggressive playstyle that you see so often implemented by him. Not something that a lot of nurses do. Most nurses would walk down in that scenario, absolutely wanting to risk losing that down. Zaka again with the Fog Vial here, but this time Metal 5 is just gonna blink straight on his dome, and that's gonna be the Fresh stage onto Zaka. Of course, Fresh is not gonna do him anything besides the unique stage counter, because again he's running Pop, Eruption, and Call of Brine, so there's no Pain Risk or anything like that, no Grim Embrace, which is also banned against Nurse, banned for Nurse, but that's beside the point. So yeah, he's just gonna get Pop from this, really, and of course, good amount of pressure will be the hook being up now, so the teammates have to dedicate some good amount of time to get the unhook. And also Metal 5 just holding this mid-map really, really nicely. Xeno trying to sneak past here. This may have just been the window of opportunity for him, but no, Metal 5 does not want to does not want to let go of this hook just yet, anticipating an early pull by our survivors. In the meantime, Ivan also not poised on a generator just yet. Ivan just starts now, and the generator's at 10%. It is the last gen remaining. Metal 5 gets the tag onto Xeno through Water Tower, and that's just gonna allow him to force the trade. Zaka runs off scot-free for now. But Zico. That's a shipping tag. Xeno's gonna be the next individual, unique, fresh stage, meaning that is all survivors now having gone past that point. Ivan's generator, can't even assess how much progress we have on it now because he is deciding to abandon it. Metal 5's trying to hold this quote-unquote 3-gen that he has available, even though there's a good amount of distance in between the generators. Yeah, I think the other one's behind main, so he's gonna have to dedicate it. Oh, it's on top of main. And the hook's right in between.
This is very, very solid position actually for Matt right here that we have. We can easily blink between these generators, 2 blink at least. Not quite the 1 blink, which pretty much is the win con for Nurse. If you have a hook and then you can 1 blink to the generators you care about, that is just catastrophic for the survivors. However, now Matt still in a very good position, needs to balance when he wants to leave that hook. And look at that, Team Elysium What impeccable timing on that pull right there. The moment Mad blinked away, even they had already pre-sent it. They predicted exactly when Mad would do so. Now Zaka has for sure touched this generator, so no more, no decisive strike yet in the arsenal to get hit by right now. Mad gonna take this hook as quick as possible, sees that the reset has come through, needs to go back and pressure not only the generators but keep getting these tags going. If he's able to get Ivan here and make it down to a 2v1, then Team Elysium will more likely than not be getting 4K'd of one generator left. However, if Ivan is able to keep vaccinating himself against any and all killer powers and just going away from everything, instead we are finding Xeno right now. Makes sense to send Ivan for the pull right here, seeing as Mad needs to go to this generator, and yeah, that's exactly what happens. Zaka goes away and gets unhooked right now as Xeno gets tugged. Will Mad choose to commit? I think he can, but he needs to convert this very, very quickly. Of key importance right now that he converts this if he's going to go for it. If he chooses not to, that's absolutely fine. But Xeno is comfortably on top of main. He has the balance landing, but instead doesn't send it. Instead sends the dead hard, and it connects. The dead hard there is so big for the momentum in this game. And finally, however, Xeno did not make the best use out of it now, just simply going to be getting slugged. As Mad is free to go back to this generator that is being stacked, has the info from Colobrine to know that for a fact the survivors are indeed choosing to work this generator. A whiff onto Zaka there. What a dramatic whiff that looked like on our
Pretty sure he
screen.
blinked inside of him.
Yeah, that looked like, I was certain that was a hit. I'm not exactly sure how that even whiffed in that situation. Maybe my fellow nurse players can know a bit more about this interaction than I can. However, now Xeno going to be getting picked up immediately, and we're going to find Zaka here again, who is on Death Hook and has no DS. He's again touched the generator, so that automatically removes the DS. Two survivors on Death Hook, but they are fully healthy. So Mad really needs to do a great job here mechanically. However, look at this pre-running by Ivan. So patient. That is exactly what you need to do. Not to rush. Make sure you have maximum distance away from the nurse at all times. And Mad can't really afford to leave his gens for too long, so he needs to get a hit on somebody getting off of the generator with his first two blinks immediately. If he's able to get this onto Zaka, that's going to be huge. Keeps him zoned edge map right now. Only has this little line of sight blocker in this pallet to play with. However, great send from Zaka, almost made it now, and I think Mad might simply have the space to try to commit for this and get us down to a 2v1, but needs to be careful about how much time this takes. But instead, gonna choose to play it safe, knowing that now Xeno and Zaka will more likely than not have to reset. Maybe gonna try to find that again, pressure that way. I'll be interested to see how Mad takes this forward.
This is sort of what nurse games or nurse sets have developed into, where you are stuck in this 3v1 even after or once you've eliminated someone from the trial, because otherwise it's not going to be possible. But once you're in that 3v1, now what you need to focus on is typically what nurse players tend to do is get the snowballing going by getting a lot of slugs, not really even going for hooks here. Obviously Matter 5 wants to get these hooks based on the perks he's running, but I remember for a good solid year in 2024, 2025,
No!
we just saw nurses slugging and slugging and slugging, but now Matter 5 has to get the downs, and a wonderful whiff here is going to allow Ivan to get so much more distance, and he runs basement, which, Volkuz, that can only mean one thing, and we're looking at it right now. That's the wrong gen! No!
No, Matt goes to the wrong generator. That's heartbreaking. Guessed wrong. Didn't think they would be on that. I was gonna say whiffing that blink onto Ivan might be game losing, and that it is. There was a chance Matt could have made. I don't think he could have made it back to the gen. They would have given the down for it anyway and settled for it, as we might still be looking at a 4K0. However, Xeno, I believe that might have been inner strength that healed Xeno up so quickly, and now he's free to go for the pickup onto Ivan and try to get an exit gate open and out. However, Mad recognizes just that, does not want to keep going for Zaka, more interested in going back for the pickup and hopefully getting Xeno, as Xeno is now worth the most stages in the trial. Xeno, however, just keeping his max distance, knows that he has a distance and wants to play around it. Ivan coming in from the sidelines now to help take this down for Xeno if possible. Very hard to body block against Nurse to try to escort Xeno to the exit gate, so maybe Team Elysium will simply just have to accept these stages. However, Mad is slightly unzoning Xeno there by following him all the way to the edge map instead of putting his body between him and either the shack or the exit gate. We don't want to let him go for the hatch or the exit gate, and converting that is actually really good right now. Ivan already escaped, maybe trying to give Xeno the opportunity to go for the hatch. However, Xeno not going for it. Maybe a slight miscom there on Elysium's side. and Mad needs to convert this now. He can't give him too much distance. Still in range. Can he do it? Great double back from Xeno, however, to force Mad to keep being patient. Now Zaka has exited. Xeno didn't double back. Xeno sent it! And Xeno makes it!
How?
What?
Okay.
Insanity. Insanity. Insanity.
I mean, honestly, I don't even want to waste any time here. We need to watch
the replay. Run it back, Mathis.
We need to immediately watch that back. There's a couple more moments, obviously, that we need to look at, but how the hell did he cover that much ground? What?
VAR. Let's check it.
VAR. Xeno might be offside. Xeno might be offside, guys. Hang on. We might have to replay this. No.
I think all that he realistically did.
Even here, I was so confused why Xeno just didn't send it to Shaq immediately. Because he had Hatch here. Maybe they weren't in position to get out. But right here, the double back, you could just taken the hit and got Hatch. I'm assuming the other survivors weren't in position. But I mean, let's just play this back.
Yeah, look, so he gets tagged here after trying a really good double back, but instead goes, doesn't go towards bottom, doesn't go towards the shack, going instead to the other side, maybe trying to get Zaka to escort him. I think, maybe, I feel like there was a miscommunication here, Mathis. I feel like there had to be. Because Ivan left, Zaka stayed in, and Zaka was the one opening the exit gate. So, I think they wanted to, yeah. Wow, look at that. That's so heartbreaking for Mad.
So from Mad's POV, it looks like he just disappeared. Harry Houdini, but if we run this back right here, so the moment Mad05 unleashes this blink, so we see Xeno right here, in the middle of our screen, right? So he's holding W, and if we continue this just a bit more, so here he's got no line of sight anymore. Mad05 blinks to the left of this rock, still has no line of sight, but there he is.
There he is, yeah.
On the tree.
We didn't even see him. We didn't even see him. What? Paid actor tree. There is no other way. Xeno came in and planted that tree before the trial began. You cannot prove it otherwise. Because how was that camera alignment with the tree so perfect for Xeno to just be able to keep sending it? Wow. Just wow. Maybe we should give a chainsaw to Nurse to cut down the trees. Maybe we should take it away from Hillbilly and give it to Nurse.
And this is why we advocate for deforestation. No, in DVD.
Whoa!
Yes. In DVD. In game, guys. But yeah, man, the timing could not have been worse for Mad05 here. That's actually ridiculous.
It simply doesn't get any more lucky.
With the blink as well, with the blink speed. It's perfectly aligned.
It's so bad, but you know, guys, a lot of the time here when we are spectating a Dead by Daylight competitive game, it's easy to look at things and point them out because we have the whole screen and we're not focused on playing. We're just focused on of watching what's happening and game sensing it, right? That's all we are focused on. So if we on the spectate don't see something happen, then Mad is never going to see it. It's so unlikely that a player that's actually playing is spotting something that we here and all of you at home probably didn't even see either. If you say you saw that, you're lying. There's no way you saw it first time. We had to go to the replay to even understand what happened fully. In my opinion, what I thought had happened was that Xeno double backed while he was behind the rock, but Mad it was a very, very small double back, almost like a fake double back, and Mad sort of overestimated it and stayed around for a bit too long. But no, I would have never thought that the tree would have been what actually caused that situation to occur.
But isn't it awesome we have the replays? And this is why you should subscribe to Revival Divisions League, because you're never going to see this anywhere else, probably, because I don't understand why no one's put the effort into setting this up. But you know what, we've looked enough at Xeno's fantastic holding W. This is something I want to highlight in the middle of the trial that I thought was really cheeky by Mad05, where he's able to outplay Xeno on this here main building. So Xeno takes him upstairs, gets the dead hard, arguably the much better choice than balanced landing. And here Xeno's expecting him to walk after him, right? So he keeps spinning a bit on the spot, and then all of a sudden, wait for it, slap to the face. So Mad05 just dropped down. He just walked down, dropped down, instead of just following him or trying to blink after him, which would have been the much more anticipated play. But instead just decides to take one of the open doors from upstairs and just drop right on his head.
Yeah, I mean, There's so many layers to that mind game right there that it's almost hard to explain. Of course, I mean, Xeno was very scared, of course, that he was just gonna get blinked on top of the moment he drops down for the balanced landing. So obviously, even if you do have balanced landing, you don't particularly stagger from the fall as much, but you still have a second where while you are dropping, the nurse can just blink right where you're gonna be. So it's very easy for Matt to predict, especially for a nurse with mechanics as good as Matt's, you would immediately get tapped there. So Xeno definitely made the wiser choice, a risky choice, but not as risky as going for the balanced landing. The balanced landing there was guaranteed death, and the mind game there from Matt to be able to catch him off. Not even enough time to react to break the locker for a killer that doesn't even run that fast, run significantly slower than most killers. So definitely very, very well played by Matt to make that mind game. If only if it wasn't for that tree, Mathis. If only if it wasn't for that tree.
Yeah, again, I just realized that's the clip I put on back, but there's one other moment I want to highlight. Because there's just so much teamwork coming in from Elysium, right? So we have Tech here, dead on hook, a good 10 seconds away from being sacrificed, but of course not on Elysium's watch. We see Ivan sprint in, manages to get the trade of Deliverance. We see Tech run away with that sprint burst. So it's really, I want to say it's a curse and a blessing. Tech ended up being the one found first, because he's one of these survivors that you want tunneled out, considering there's Resurgence and Sprint Burst available. But yeah, obviously this time around, Mathis didn't leave the hook because he didn't want to grant our survivors that time to get value out of Resurgence. And then also how close this was. I mean, let's take a look at this. Tech also realigned his camera because he was curious about the hitboxes here, or the field that Xeno was able to work with. Look at how close this is. I feel like an inch pushed in further, he would have had the ability to drop this pallet. And Volkuz, you already pointed this out during the trial. What's it with pallet saves right now? How do they work, and why didn't it work here, and why was it so close?
Certainly. Yeah, I mean, pallet saves, what used to be the case is that when you were in a good position for a pallet save, you were simply in a good position. You would go in the middle of the pallet, and then whichever way the killer wanted to drag you, you could see either way the survivor would come, unless they were very much in front of the pallet, and then you'd have to go on behind them on the other side. But currently, the way it works with pallet saves is that if you're even a little bit on the same side as the killer picking up the survivor, like we see here, you completely lose access to the prompt. Like you see Xeno there did not have the prompt available to him to drop that pallet whatsoever. This has been a quote-unquote feature that has been in the game now for a couple months. Pallet saves have kind of been broken, and I believe it was Dan of Team Invictus who also pointed it out, saying that now pallet saves are a two-man operation rather than a one-man, simply because there is on a lot of pallets, on most pallets in the game, the survivor only really has access to one. There's not enough time to reposition to the other side of the pallet. So currently, you either send two survivors to go after one pallet save, which is just a very big risk and a gigantic potential waste of time. And of course, you could even get a hit for it, for missed timings, and if the timing is missed in general, that is just catastrophic also. So the only thing you can really do as survivor right now is pray that your teammate has a very, very good position and that the killer doesn't try to vacuum you backwards or forwards, because as a killer, you don't even need to do much in terms of using your brain. You just need to expect which side is more likely the survivor is going to come from. And even if you kind of stand perfectly in the middle, I have also seen it to where they don't get the prompt anyway. So pallet saves are just very, very unreliable in the current state of the game. You cannot get them. You can't really play for them as much. It's a massive risk overall. And yeah, if you need to involve more than two players, it becomes a very big problem that you probably should not concern yourself with whatsoever, especially if it's not a death hook. And here in this case, in Tech's case, he was dead on a hook, so might as well make the final result play, and was really not looking good for the survivors at this point. We had injuries, and Tech would have been dead at 3. So understandably, you go for the pallet save, but it's just really not feasible right now.
You speak of position. Do you think Tech could have crawled you a bit more? Because we do see right here, we're literally analyzing fractions of seconds right now, but right here, Mathis could have insta-picked him, made sure that there's nobody able to go to approach the pallet from this angle, but we see him hesitate. Tech crawls a bit, but then he starts to recover for a split second there. And I think that alone did not allow Xeno to get the pick. Obviously, in this scenario, Matt was probably, just pressing space because he still had the prompt. Had Tech crawled another inch, the prompt would have been lost. And now this is just hypothetical, so I'm throwing out here, obviously. Would Mathis still have insta-picked?
Maybe
There's
not,
so
but then you
many-
have a
Mhm.
you get a different problem then, because then Mad, not only there's not too much coverage around this palette, so if Mad simply decides to check behind these boxes or around the or just take another few steps, he would see Xeno, be able to blink onto him, and then injured person can't really go for a palette save. It would be game loss immediately. But then you also run the other risk that if Tech rolls too far, then Mad can vacuum him to the other side and swing after he picks up, and then Xeno doesn't get the palette save again. So it's a double-edged sword. No matter which you do, there is one risk or the other. I think this is honestly the safer choice, I believe. Because if you were to continue, I don't know if Tech took it all into account, of this was just his instinct telling him how to play around the situation. Good instinct, but only so much he could have done. But yeah, this is, I think, the safer option, because worst case scenario is actually what happened, which is Xeno gives a hit and we don't get the pallet save. But on the other one, it's Xeno gets found completely in the open, and then we also don't get a pallet save. But we can also choose to slug, go for Xeno, get another down potentially, and I don't know if we have enough time to pick up, so we could be looking at an instant 4k3 or something of the sort. So very, very difficult decision to make, and it just kind of happens.
You call it double-edged sword. I want to call it. I mean, it's an infinite amount of possibilities. It's just the further we analyze it, the more possibilities we think of, the further we go down the rabbit hole. Really, so there's so much you can overanalyze. I mean, I don't think there's an end to it. But yeah, what we have to deal with is the facts now, and ooh. Are we having a funny little issue with my game? My game just crashed. I think that's what happened. Cool.
Is your internet working?
Yeah, I mean, you can hear me. The stream is just fine. Well, that's pretty funny. I'm pretty sure my DVD just crashed. Yeah, because the stream is still working. It's just the screen share that you're commenting on right now.
Yep, that's fine. Excuse me,
the
stream wasn't
working. Yeah. It's the screen share. Because I'm pretty sure my game is frozen. You know what, I might as well show it to everybody. Yeah, and also I'm gonna spoil, whom we would have seen on Killer, which I'm so excited to see this, because, oh wait, yeah, it's also just black screen mode, yes. Fantastic. Yeah, guys, so this is what we're working with. Yeah, hey, I could actually use the standby screen for a second, so that's pretty funny. Yeah, we'll be back in like a couple of seconds while I restart my game, so I'm very sorry. We'll be right back. Alright, ladies and gents, we are back already. So, turns out my game didn't crash. For some reason, I just got stuck into an infinite loading screen. Seems like I'm forced to Alt 4 anyway, because now I have another infinite loading screen, so that's funny. But yeah, I really don't want to stay on these standby screens for too long, because, yeah, I mean, it gets pretty boring on stream. So, Dead by Daylight, end task, and goodbye. Time to restart.
You're free.
The teams
You're
are very
free,
ready
finally.
I'm free.
Best decision Mathis ever made.
Oh. Nah, come on, man, making the Zorgas one. It has to be.
Of course.
That's trumping it 100%.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight can be a funny little game.
100%. I mean, what has this evening been? It's
a mess.
So, scheduling, Discord, and on TV. Come on, man.
Anyway, what happens next? A meteor crashes into our houses. I feel like that's the next natural progression. I'm kind of scared for my life here, Mathis. We have life insurance, right? The castles have life insurance, right? Yeah, I remember signing that.
I mean, if you want me to forward your pay to a loved one, then 100% doing that.
That's absolutely fine. Well, they're in Greece. I'll keep them going for a few years. Anyway, they'll. What is it? Yeah, now dealing with our technical issues.
Make sure that. I'm not even joking. I would be. I'm 100% serious. If you want this to go anywhere else, bro, I'm taking care of it. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We have a lot of intermissions, a lot of misfortune for us here today. Unlucky.
The downside of organizing tournaments is that your friend list is endlessly long. So, but yeah, we have in fact made it back to the game. So, I mean, I know for a fact that players are ready, so the moment I get into the stoppy, we're also going straight in. Man, I want to see Xeno Nurse! I haven't seen it so long.
It's a classic.
Yeah, you say classic. I feel like that one video Xeno made in 2021 was a gateway to so many players into Comp DBD. Do you know what video I'm talking about? Give me a quick yes or no.
I know. I
Hell
know what
yeah.
video you're talking
What's
about.
The title? What's the title?
Was it educational top level nurse scrims? What was it?
No. My best competitive nurse performance.
Yes.
Team Trauma.
That is true. That is very true. I got that so long ago now. How do you even? People still think about this video.
I have ball knowledge. No, I have crazy ball knowledge. I mean, it's a pretty good.
Oracle versus Trauma, right?
It was
way back in
then,
the day. Yeah.
And Oracle were 4K'd on 2. So Xeno had to 4K1. So Xeno had to 4K2 because I think it was some wacky tiebreaker rule that he had to win, otherwise it was gonna go to Trauma. I don't remember what it was, but that video is also the origin of Trauma Tech, if anyone's curious to see. So yeah, go on YouTube, look for Xeno, my best competitive nurse performance. That's the first video you'll see. I even remember the thumbnail. It should be Nurse with the black wedding skin on the right with a blue drop shadow around her, and it says my best. It should say my best competitive nurse performance on the title as well. Something like that. But yeah, that's stuck to my mind for a very good reason. And you know what? I might as well share the story because it's really funny. To everybody who's really bored by this, we're going in legit 20 seconds. So don't worry, I'm not going to keep you stuck for too long. Because I made a video back then because I played Killer against Oracle, my first ever Killer game in comp, and I went against Oracle. And I basically just took Xeno's exact format off that video because I thought it'd be funny to troll him. So that's where people. So if anybody remembers my best competitive bomber performance or whatever it's called, I don't remember. I think it was me playing against Oracle. That's also why I did it to kind of rub it in. But yeah, I stole the title and format because I thought it'd be funny. But yeah, we've made it in, lads. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on Call Tower 2 with Xeno's absolutely legendary nurse against the Sons of Team Serein. So yeah, Volkuz, please do go ahead and take it away.
You know, one thing I immediately want to call out is that I don't know if Matt maybe didn't realize that this was available in the balancing, because I remember when I was casting last, I'm not exactly sure what game it was, but we had another nurse set and agitation was in play. It was Praxis, that's it. It was Praxis.
Yeah.
Praxis versus Sinners. And they also had agitation on the nurse, but I saw Matt not bringing it, and I'm like, oh, it must have been a fever dream that it was allowed, because if it's allowed, surely that's the very first thing you put on your roster. It seems Xeno has recognized that and is going to be running that agitation. So this is such a sizable advantage over Matt's build. It's not even funny. Cole O'Brien versus agitation on nurse is night and day. Oh my god! Freeze immediately. Frozen solid goes down, smashes into the ground. What a prediction, what a gamble from Xeno to go for that blink, and it pays off. And now he's going to use that beautiful agi to secure a better hook position. What a great early game right now for Xeno to be able to get such a fast down, and has all of his resources back, has his blinks back, and now not too much that Team Serein can do apart from get on their first gens and have the Deli stealthing around. Is Xeno looking for Deli? Rats is here. He's gonna find Rats. That's not Rats. That's Haze. Finds Haze on the while we were switching around the perspectives. I must have not realized where we were. But yeah, is in fact finding Rats, but getting another hit. He's gonna get another down immediately. No, the light saves Haze by the skin of his teeth. Leave it up to Xeno to make immediately make the early game as action-packed as possible, as Freeze now has been reset and gonna be running up, has that balance landing and dead hard in play. Probably maybe the worst anti-tunnel right now on the team, but he's still gonna have to try to make it work, because if we manage to get him death hook at 5 gens, that is gonna be just way too much pressure in favor of Elysium right now. Great dead hard!
Freeze got the no you card back up. I mean, Xeno demolished him in that first chase, but now gets a really nicely timed dead hard, and it looked like, not just, I mean, Xeno was probably thinking about it, definitely, but Xeno insta-swings there. Because with Nurse, there's only really 3 options, I want to say, you can pick. It's either you insta-swing, you swing really late and try to wait it out, or you just do your normal swing, expecting, I mean, there's nothing I can do really anyway, so might as well take it. And Xeno insta-swung there, hoping that he might be faster than Freeze's reaction time, but Freeze also just dead-hearted super early. Chasing or tunneling this this dead-hard survivor is gonna make it a bit rougher for our killer, most certainly, but, I mean, it could have been way worse. Yeah, I mean, Haze is our decisive strike player, so I can imagine Haze gonna be the second in command on the Unhook. We did see that Deliverance activated for Rat at the start. He was the first to get the Unhook, and then typically once your survivor's on Death Hook, the second... Is he not gonna send it? Of course he will. The second Unhook you want to come through is by the For the People player, so... I mean, on one, you're going to get that, insta-heal, absolutely guaranteed, and 2, with that decisive strike after, Xeno has to commit to now his tunnel out. He can't try to split pressure and go for Haze in that scenario, because then he'd be going for the decisive strike player, and Xeno just prediction after prediction after prediction. It's so much fun to watch, and decides to stay. Freeze gets insta-healed, and he's not interested in pursuing this, just once the pop goes to the weasel value. We get our second stage finally, and Xeno might just be setting up for a potential late game here. I'm not sure where the closest 3rd gen is. Does claim the hook right behind main. I'm pretty sure he does, I mean, 100% he has 3 generators in a 2-blink range. The one to his left and right now. Breaks the wall upstairs once he gets clear line of sight on survivors that might be sneaking in for a shaky early pull, but nobody. It's got no clear sight on anyone just yet.
Yeah. I think Xeno needs 10 stages here, if I'm not mistaken, for his win condition. So definitely needs to put up a lot of pressure, and actually kind of needs to turn 9 stages, excuse me. Needs 9 stages for his win condition. So definitely needs to put up a lot of pressure. Needs to get a lot of stages in and get a tunnel out more likely than not. I don't believe he's gonna be able to get with the perks and the map being a bit bigger, a bit more awkward. He almost got away with that. Almost got away with that.
He did! Healing! He did!
Oh wait, that was in there! He was injured, I didn't even realize! He completely got away with it, and he bamboozles Xeno again! MX, the hero of Serein right now, coming out, pulling out all the stops. If he jukes this as well, this is just the end of the road. Nah, this is too much. This is too much. Wow, incredibly well played by MX there, hopping in, Fog Vial, inner healing immediately, just using everything you have in your kit. And I think right now is when we're gonna see the fact that we didn't go after Freeze really start to hit back on Xeno. One of the risks here of putting extra pressure on while neglecting your tunnel out is that you're doing just that. You're neglecting your tunnel out, and that all usually results in there being quite a bit of gen pressure. So now we're only at 1 gen left, and we don't quite have the ability to go and... finding the reset, however, we're able to get the tag on to Freeze. Never mind, I take it all back. Commit to Freeze. Surely we commit to Freeze here and get him out of the game. I believe there should not be much other gen progress on the map. So now Freeze only going edge map, has the only able to juke going down. It looks dire, but Haze was simply just plot twisted. So now he's going to be getting up. MX getting pulled. Now we're in the 3v1. Does Xeno have a gen spread to play for? That is the case. No, he does not. Absolutely, he does not. The gens are too far apart, and I completely get him not wanting to go for Freeze and wanting to get a bit more pressure on the map, but it's so risky, and it's probably gonna come back to bite him right now, Mathis.
Oh man, that game could have been phenomenal. Ooh, Xeno's checking basement. That's a lot of time waste while a generator on the opposite side of the map is being doubled, and Haze isn't even anywhere near. He didn't even realize Xeno blinked basement. He almost ran back in. He's hiding behind the zero right now. Xeno still is scanning this. Now he's finally decided to leave. This could have been phenomenal. This could have been mental for Serein had Freeze not been hit on the reset there. Had it been Rats, that would have been completely fine, because again, Freeze is the one that cannot go down there, but he's the one that was, in position. He was the one that was blocking the path from Xeno to a potential tag onto Rats right as that heal came through. And I'm assuming Freeze felt the necessity that he had to commit to this heal. Oh, Crow went up. What does Xeno spy? Was his little eye make that be a survivor, or was that him who disturbed the... Oh, no, okay, the moment I swap perspective, trying to find the survivor. And we get the tag onto MX. into Mundox here, and he's trying to run as far away as possible. Xeno's just gonna connect this with a very quick 1-2. Goes down near Shack as well with that eruption proc, so Haze is gonna be interrupted on the generator. I'm not sure if that's miscommunication as well. He's kind of stuck. It's a very rough position to be stuck in, because either you just die on the spot or you run into either of your teammates' generators. And Xeno is gonna say, thank you, good sir, and gets that hook right in the middle of his generators. Now, I'm pretty sure this down right here is going to be enough for Xeno to turn this back around. Despite that phenomenal chase that we've seen earlier, Haze stealthing out, Xeno scanning the basement as well, not finding a connection. Rat's super lucky as Xeno just barely overshoots the blink, expecting Rat to be outside of the tower, but has instead been hiding inside of it. And Rat's being in chase now. Either he has to get this trade or... Oh, mental. Rat takes the tag on the pallet here. These generators are so close, but Haze has to make a move now. I'm not sure he can commit to this, because Xeno's just going to be able to get this down really quickly, isn't he?
Xeno gets it down here, and also we need to point out that now we're at the situation where if Haze gets down and hooked, that's game over. That is the amount of stages for the win con needed. And I think Haze is now was kind of gambling that that Xeno would think that Haze is there, so he would waste time looking around so Haze can maybe even pop the generator. But now that there's the hook, even if we pop the generator, it's simply not going to be enough. There's going to be too many stages of the board. It's going to be 9-3. We need 9-4, but Haze... Like, Xeno could simply just camp the hatch close, and it would be very difficult for Haze to do anything about that. Xeno spots Haze's rotation, going for the unhook onto Rats. MX going to be dying on the hook, however, so we don't... Now we're in the 2v1. One survivor is already on the hook, so there's really not much to do. Not able to commit to convert the hit onto Haze now, but what do you even do in this situation? There's really not much else. Why would Haze stick on the generator for so long? I'm not sure. He needed to play a bit faster to rotate from bottom and try to get the pull onto MX, because simply now, Xeno can simply commit onto Rats, can go apply eruption, can play it a bit slower. It's a 2v1. The ends are very far apart, so there is even a chance that we could pop another generator. There is no chance that we can stop another few stages from coming out. What is Xeno cooking sometimes? I sure do wonder what goes on in that brain of his. What a man Xeno is. What a man Xeno is. Unable to commit to convert that. Sure. Yeah, unable to convert that onto Rats right now. But yeah, there is not too much going on after that. Haze is going to pop the generator, but Rats just going to get slugged here, and then Haze just hook him. It's over. Oh yeah, you could just hook him. Yeah, why not? Absolutely fine. You know where Haze is going to be. So all you need to do is not get stealth, and somehow Haze gets out via hatch or the gate, but he definitely doesn't make the hatch. Definitely doesn't make the hatch, right? Definitely doesn't make the hatch, right?
Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, well, Xeno's an OG player, and we all know the 2016 code, so if a survivor decides to give you his item at the exit gate or near the hatch, then you have to let him go. Xeno, you're breaching code of conduct, mate. Nah, unbelievable.
Unacceptable. Anyway, report him.
I will, right after this trial. But yeah, it would have been so much more exciting had we seen a 9 stage by Metal 5 in the previous game, because in that case, Haze escaping would have been the win. Because then it would have been 3 to 4 freshes.
Yeah, that would have been the case, but however, it was simply not going to be enough at the end of the day. So now, unfortunately, we will not be seeing the fallen Refuge nightmare. We are... who's thankful for that? I know I am. I'm joking, of course. But yeah, 2-1. It would have been interesting for sure, but I don't know. I love Nightmare. Fallen Refuge though, that's crazy. That's crazy to me.
You're talking the one that made the balancing, man. Come on now.
I have complaints. No, I'll leave that up to the people actually playing to tell you what they think or what they don't.
They hate me just as much. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Then I can say it too.
Yeah. You're justified.
But yeah, Elysium gonna be winning 2-0 over Serein. Serein did get their free pass to get into the second round of our tournament. However, now they're gonna be getting delegated to, I believe it's round 1 of the losers bracket.
Yep.
Gonna be meeting our other teams here. So who are they gonna be actually up against? Do we know, Mathis? Do we know?
I will tell you in a second. It's always challenged that I never have up. I should really get used to that more. I'm probably not going to be able to open this on PC with so much going on either. Oh wait, no, I do have it open. I just didn't see the tab. Okay, anyway.
The goat.
Pretend I say nothing. Yes, so the loser of this matchup, in higher bracket round 2, between Serein and Elysium, will be going against Aegis. So we're gonna see gonna see Serein Aegis in the lower bracket, and whoever wins will go against the winner of Invictus ONYX. Elysium now advancing to the higher round 3, meaning they're going up against Sinner soon.
Okay, so everybody has the work cut out for them for sure. Aegis versus Aegis versus Serein. I think that's that's kind of an even. I don't want to say even matchup, but I think it's on paper it looks a bit more balanced than maybe Serein Elysium. But alas, I think that is going to be very, very fun to watch. ONYX versus Invictus, that's a rough time. That's going to be difficult for them. And then Sinners also again difficult. Also, what a bracket we have going on here, Mathis. Let's be so real. Our bracket is so very awesome. So interesting. It can go so many. It feels like it can go so many ways, and especially with the losers bracket being what it is, and the fact that top teams can just get gone simply because of the random seeding that we gave them. But yeah, I mean, I think well played to both teams.
Praxis.
I think, yeah, Umbrella Praxis, exactly what I was referring to. But overall, very well played to both teams. I think Mad did an incredible job on Nurse. Urushi did also very well on Plague, simply could not get that early game pressure. Zaka was very solid on the Plague. And then And then Xeno brought out the classic Xeno Nurse, always winning, even though it looked like he was losing a lot of pressure. That nasty tag onto Freeze for the tunnel out was really what turned the game around and made it.
The start, now that he pointed out, with the reset, but also Freeze got I have to say, got absolutely demolished by Xeno here. I mean, look at this. He breaks line of sight here. Xeno has the blink charge. He has no idea where he is. Xeno has zero clue where Freeze just went. Uses balance landing to double back super aggressively to edge map, because in what world would a nurse expect you to run back into after that? I mean, you'd be getting guaranteed distance. I mean, I can make a pretty good point why you should do exactly what Freeze just did, because it makes a lot of sense, because most nurses right here will expect, I mean, he's got balance landing very obviously, he's running on top of the hill, what else is he gonna do? He's gonna send it, right? Try to make as much distance as possible, double backs, and Xeno just 45-degree flicks this blink on his head, and Freeze didn't even have the camera there, because why would you? It's ridiculous.
I mean, okay, yes, it is very well played for Xeno to be able to predict it, but it's such a gamble. It's just such an insane gamble. He could have just as well lost that as he wanted. Let's be so real.
In 9 out of 10 games, he would have lost the game.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, 9 out of 10. His early game would have been shot out the window. But a man that always gambles is the man that can always win. Shang-Tzu or somebody said that, I'm certain. But for sure, Xeno is a gambling man. I know it. We've seen it. Everybody knows that Xeno is a gambling man, and his gamble paid off, and he won because of it. Sun Tzu, my goat. Xeno knows him, loves him.
Oh, dude. And also, I mean, it's kind of funny that this all happened in this corner of the map, right? Because that is exactly where our next clip is situated as well. I mean, Mundox with that inner healing. Do you remember?
I don't want to remember. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
This is just perfection.
This was insane. I mean, to know you have the tools in your arsenal. And no, I got this. To know you have the tools in your arsenal, to know exactly what order to use them in, to put them next to each other, to have the timing, to know when to pull the trigger on a play like that, and be able to make it work is so masterful, so breathtaking that MX was able to make that happen. It's beyond me that he not only that he conjured up this plan in his mind, but that he had the skill, patience, and timing to execute it. All I can say is that it's just brilliant. It's just completely brilliant.
I mean, let's go through this step by step, really, because right here. So Xeno has line of sight on him, or basically does. He knows exactly where he went. He can only be behind that tile. Floliroy comes out. Xeno expects him to wrap around and double back, because it's typically what you do when, I want to say most survivors, when they know, no more scratch marks, the killer's not really gonna see me, I'm gonna try to take advantage of this, double back into the killer. Freeze at this point already enters the locker. And Xeno blinks to the left here, expecting this double back, right? Freeze is already in the locker. Inner healing started, ticking down. And he doesn't hear him, or doesn't see him, doesn't hear him. Right now there's whooshing going on by the Floliroy, And you know what, Volkuz, I'm gonna maximize the volume of this clip real quick, because I wanna have a quick, I want to give the audience an opportunity to listen to this again, so please interrupt while I let this play out, because obviously people are going to hear us speak in this clip as well. And I want to see if anyone in the audience can spot if you could have heard Mundox in this locker.
Condition. So definitely needs to put up a lot of pressure, needs to get a lot of stages in and get a tunnel out more likely than not. I don't believe he's going to be able to get with the perks and
so he went past him right here one more time.
A lot of pressure, needs to get a lot of stages in and get a tunnel out more likely than not. I don't believe he's going to be able to.
It's so difficult to make out. But also, I mean,
not a chance in hell.
I live for moments like this. That is just, I mean, it's a niche perk. I almost want to say it's a niche perk against the nurse. It's a heal state, right? But then also, obviously, what Mundox does here, the moment that heal comes in, he insta jumps out, because I mean, the cogs start turning in Xeno's head as well. I mean, that can only be one perk, really. Disappears. There's 2 lockers in front of me. He just got healed. Can only be in the locker. So Mundox has to jump out immediately. Can't risk the 50-50 of Xeno opening the wrong locker. So makes the right decision here. Jumps out. Takes the clobber. Makes it to the next Talia. And this is also where I want to start counting seconds. Because, I mean, I find this moment so wonderful. So Xeno right here. Let's say Freeze goes down right here. Let's just assume, right? We're 27 seconds into the clip. And Mundox runs out, takes the hit after getting healed. Manages to dodge another flurry of blinks, if I remember correctly. Nice double back, double back. Xeno predicted, of course, because of Xeno. Avoids it again. And Mundox makes it back to this corner. Just really smart decision making again, because he knows I've done my job, might as well just take it as far away as possible. And he goes down at 57, or 58. From that one play, that's 31 seconds. That is a third of a generator.
Yeah,
brutal.
I mean,
let's just play this out one more time. Yeah, your finishing thoughts on this, please.
I don't know what to say that's not already been said. I mean, again, the fact that this would even pop into your mind is just as brilliant to me as you actually doing it. The fact that you would do this, because this is a risky time in this game to be going for something like this.
Yeah.
Buying any second now, there's a tunnel out that could also always be happening on the other side of the map. So having the killer's attention in this situation is such a valuable resource to our survivor right now. The longer you keep the killer in your sights, the better your chances of winning the game are, because you're getting so much progress, as you pointed out, Mathis. You're getting so much for this 33 seconds of gens, a third of a normal generator, more than 70% of a stacked generator, and you're going absolutely crazy. So to think that you can make a play like this, to actually attempt it and then make it, is fine, because he would have been dead there. Because he's dead. If he doesn't do something, he just dies. And then Xeno has the Adrian play, it's been called out by now, to try to get close and then hopefully Blink try to find Freeze or at least interrupt with Pop Eruption, the generator. So everything you do is so calculated. That's the only way you can buy back precious pressure for your team, and you made it happen. Bravo, MX. That's all I can say. Bravo.
And you've already pointed this out as well. Right after Mundox ends up going down, and yeah, what Xeno wants now, thanks to that agitation, is going to help him so much more. I thought it was also funny that you pointed out, I mean, Agi is just an insta-pick on it. It's an insta-lock-in on Nurse, besides
Before Corrupt, I'm picking Agi. Before Corrupt, I'm picking Agi, 100%.
I love that you say that. But that's, because honestly, I agree. Have to. Because Agi is just so powerful. I mean, Nurse is already the killer that has the easiest, or the best means, besides the... Blight's probably a bit better, but Nurse profits from Agi so much more. Because she can always threaten to be anywhere instantaneously. Blight still has to rush, so there's a bit of reaction time for the survivors. But yeah, right here. Without Agi, you wouldn't have made this in time. Without his game sense, I mean, without anticipating that they must be resetting somewhere, he would have never made this in time. And it's so unlucky. I mean, the position that Freeze and Rats are in is just so unlucky. They pop this generator, they call out, okay, let me heal me real quick. Xeno randomly blinks inside the tile, expecting, okay, they might be there still. They just might be. And look at the distance right here. Had Xeno swung, he would have not made this. But he very smartly waits this out. Right now, Rats is on like 95% heal as well. Hesitates for a split second. Rats gets healed. Rats in this position right now, obviously, Freeze can't immediately hold W, make distance. There's I want to say like a microsecond of body blocking happening. Right now, I mean, Freeze, I don't even think Freeze was able to react in time, or neither was Rats. Because you see him stand still here for a split second. Because typically if you hold W, this split second of transition animation wouldn't occur. You would immediately phase into the sprint, as far as I know. So, and, I mean, just look at the last pixel here he gets as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, insane.
Yeah, right here. Swing's already over. Animation ended. Still gets the hit. And yeah, I mean,
overall, the animations for killer swings are one of the very first things I when people I'm talking to or I'm coaching to or I'm trying to help out that say about playing killer is your swing animation is very how should I say it's fake. It's illusionary a lot of the time. You need to learn your true swing range. That is one of your best core M1 mechanics that you need to learn when you're playing killer, especially starting out. This is especially true for a lot of ladder players and 1v1 players that they want to improve their M1 mechanics. The very first thing I tell them is go and practice and actually feel how far your swing can go, because it looks like it's going to end, but it doesn't. So it is deceptive, it is kind of illusionary, but your swing does go just that extra touch bit further, which gets you so many more hits. If you know about it and you know how to make use of it, you get so many more hits in comparison to what you would have gotten if you thought your swing was actually as short as it looked.
Yeah, I'm very happy you point that out, because that's the same thing that where people got really upset with once Freddy was released for the game, because his hits always looked so off. Is it ping? Mm-hmm. Is it false hitboxes? But no, it's just because his claw, the knife glove knives, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure. Do you know the actual term for it?
I don't know. Even though I've seen the films, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Whatever. But yeah, you know what I mean. The weapon. Because obviously, a couple of knives attached to your hand, kind of like a third of what Wolverine has access to, or probably even less, is much shorter than a machete or a sword, right? So, or in the nurse case, a saw blade, or a bone saw, sorry. So, obviously it's going to look a bit different, and that is why his animations always look a bit off, because, yeah, the duration of the animation, also just the length of the weapon, doesn't catch up. The same with Legion, because it's just a knife. It's not a sword again, so the hits will always look a bit funny, but I can assure you that the hitboxes are all the exact same across all killers. So it just looks a bit off, because, yeah, you can't really... It would be a lot of effort to make it custom for every killer, or make them lunge forward a bit differently, because then it would also look like, from the outside perspective, or from the survivor POV, that the killer just gets much more distance during the lunge, but it's all the exact same. Just looks a bit off sometimes, and yeah, with that no hit onto freeze as well. It is a bit of ping, but Nurse can also just last pixel it, or as Trutello would say, just the tip, whenever he used to get those hits back in the day. I'm pretty sure he does nowadays too, but it's iconic, I have to point it out. You know what, you're gonna be impressed by the board knowledge. I remember True Talent playing against the devs on a private build in 2016 when Nurse was originally being produced, or when she was work in progress. On that, I'm pretty sure it was Suffocation Pit that he was sent on, and he played against Matthew McCoy himself on Survivor. And when Nurse stood at 3 blinks as well, that was so much fun. I mean, I
wasn't even playing the game back then. I wasn't playing the game, but I remember watching, I don't remember when I started playing the game in 2018. I either watched it or I heard about it, and then obviously when I was new to the game in 2018, True Talent was one of the creators that I watched along with everybody else, along with some other classics like Hybrid Panda, if you remember. As long as you remember, the classic intro old Darva, of course, was picking up the game, and there was a lot of that early content creation for DBD being created back then. But I remember watching that being like, oh my god, this guy's insane. Even the devs can't stop him. And then, a lot has changed since then.
Oh man, I mean, it's funny to talk about the past, right? Especially since we've already picked up on Xeno in 2021. That was just the time to be alive, really. That was when Comp had one of its peaks. Or that's also when I got into Comp, so I remember the most vividly. But it was every year of this community is just so much fun, because it looks completely different every time. And that's not just because of teams, it's about culture. It's about what all of a sudden has become meta, and people always pretend like this has always been meta, and if you don't keep up, then you're the dumbass. But that's always getting a bit annoying when people try to pretend that it's always been this way. It's the same with a lot of these players, because also I remember when some of the top players, I don't want to name names now because that would be going into too much detail, but I remember some of the top players that we see compete nowadays used to get clowned on in 2021, 2022, when they started picking up killer, and people were going, oh my god, this guy's so bad on X and Y killer, I mean, there's just no hope for him, really. Look where they are now.
I also don't want to name names, but a name immediately jumps out to me in my head. I'm not going to say it, of course, out of respect. But I remember seeing this player getting clowned on a lot for a long time, and now a lot of people consider him to be the best in the world. So
Yep.
it will show you. I think you might, a lot of people already know who I'm talking about, but a lot of the time, it's one of the things I do also love about competitive Dead by Daylight as a community and as a culture, is that you do actually, even though a lot of people ego, even though you can have the awkward interaction here and then, a lot of the players, especially the better the player is, the more understanding they are of you not being as good. The more the amount of times I've been in streams or spoken to some players who are very high level, and they are so supportive about people not being as good, or like, because they remember their own the struggle of getting up there, because it really is a very difficult game to learn DBD. There's not that many resources as you may have for other games. Competition is harder to find, coaching is harder to find. Everything is just a bit more prohibitive, and the game plays a lot by feel, creating your game sense, because the game is also so unique. It's not like your other shooters where you might have previous experience from. It's not like other games like that, fighting games, where you've played a couple, then you've kind of understand how they work. It's its own unique thing, and you have to build such a unique mindset and game sense towards the game, to where it's so hard for that to be taught onto you. It's something you just simply need to play and figure out for yourself. It's almost, I always compare it to trying to play blindfolded chess. You need to know where things are going and what might happen without actually being able to see it. You need to have that mental image and be able to play predictively off of something that you don't even know is even there in the first place. So,
And that's just what chess is, even without the blindfold, isn't it?
I mean, that's partly true. That's partly true. Yeah, that's partly true. But yeah, I mean, it's such a unique space. I think in game DBD in gaming is such a unique space, and a lot of your favorite content creators and big comp players, I promise you, will be a lot more understanding that you would expect for you not being as good as them.
Oh man, this is just so fantastic. I love watching the community development, but having been having been able to contribute to it as well myself.
I wish I was there earlier. I wish I had joined earlier. That's my only complaint.
When did you join again exactly?
When did I? Well, I first started watching comp probably around 2023. I want to say probably
right,
around
yeah, that's the number
watching
as well. Then okay, so I was about to say the right thing, because I was going to say 2023.
I've been playing for about a year, but like maybe a bit less than a year. But I've been watching for a little longer than that. But
hey, you at least skipped the movement update in 2021 that everybody really loved, when transition animations were added to absolutely everything. So the OGs will know. A lot of people probably have no idea what I'm yapping about, but yeah.
I was playing, but it wasn't that deep.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, it was horrible. The desync plus the movement update with transitions on everything. You couldn't moonwalk, man. You couldn't spin, because there were transition animations on everything. So if you tried to 180, you'd be stuck in space in place for a second, because your survivor or your character had to go through this whole animation cycle of yes, I need to turn around now and twist my entire body to be facing the opposite direction. It made chasers so sluggish and so slow. It was really annoying to play around. I'm glad they removed it, essentially, and it's the same as it was before, just with different animations, which is completely fine. I mean, a lot of people miss the OG animations, but really, it looks a million times better now. Sorry to burst anyone's bubble, but it does. Yeah, that is going to conclude the matchup for today. We've been spectating Serein and Elysium. Elysium will take the 2-0 win. They'll be advancing the higher bracket and will be facing off Sinners. Meanwhile, Serein have made it to the lower bracket now and will be facing off Aegis in the loser bracket round 1. So that's going to be next week as well. Volkuz, are there any finishing thoughts that we would like to end up with before I take over the outro, etc., etc.?
All I want to say is that the games have been very, very entertaining. Our teams did a great job both, and even though Serein is clearly the underdog coming into this situation, they held their own in every possible way. MX played incredibly well on Survivor every time she was on screen. Something good was happening, I feel. Very, very...
yeah.
He was he's a bit underappreciated, but he's still absolutely the GOAT. In today's situation, I'm sure his team are celebrating him despite losing. I think they should be very, very happy with that regardless. And overall, I want to say, excellent quality from both teams here. Very entertaining, and I'm going to say the same thing I say every time we outro in any casting I do. Please continue supporting us here in CompDBD. Continue supporting CompDBD in any way you can. a big thank you to everybody for watching, to the players for giving us our entertainment, and a big thank you and very good job to everyone here in our league behind the scenes, because again, this was a very difficult stream to set up last minute, so we're very happy we're very happy to have been able to bring it all to you and actually brought this match to light, because you would have missed some incredible moments if this was all offline. So thank you to everybody for all your hard work, and I will be signing out now.
Thank you very much, Volkuz. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on as well. And also, I'm eternally grateful that you were one of the few people that were able to turn up last second. Because originally, this match was supposed to be tomorrow, casted by Volkuz and Zach. So yes, spoiler, Zach is also going to be casting for this league. Of course he is. He's my IRL friend. And he's fantastic at what he does. He's got a very large portfolio now that he is one of the co-owners of Tags as well. But yeah, I'll be introing him when we get to him. But right now he's been a bit busy, but he'll probably be on much more frequently next week. The other person I don't have to wait for, though, is Volkuz, because yeah, he doesn't have a 3... as far as I know, he doesn't have a 3-week trip ahead of him, like Zach, or the one that Zach is on right now. Perfect, so yeah, I'll be exhausting your services much more, because yeah, I'm great. I'm happy the feeling is mutual. But yeah, thank you very much, good sir, for turning up last second. It would have been very difficult without, because again, I cannot stand offline matches. I mean, we need to have everything up. But yeah, again, the timing was really off because I was in the midst of doing laundry and I didn't have my phone on me. But yeah, I noticed as quickly as I possibly could have. Yeah, we were able to pull this up. I'm also grateful to the teams that they decided not to ditch last second and did actually wait out the 25 minutes that we delayed the match by. So big shout out to Serein and Elysium for tolerating this. It's been was very nice by them, but also again, yeah, scheduling nightmare in the background. There's so many reschedules of this match because Elysium and Serein just couldn't decide. So that took us a good couple days, and seems it almost took us a week, since it essentially continued till today, because yeah, we didn't even know this was happening today. So yeah, instead of having to wait a whole day for the next matchup, you know, we were able to provide you with it today instead of tomorrow. But that also means tomorrow is going to be the day where we won't be streaming. We'll have to wait for Petroleum and Mercy on, if you're American, Tuesday, but if you're European, that is 1 a.m. Central European time, so that's very late, obviously, but yeah, I'm hoping you can manage, because the game's obviously going to be very entertaining to see. It's going to be our last matchup of higher bracket round 2, so this will also decide who's going to be joining Oboy in the lower bracket for their matchup, because the loser of Petroleum Mercy will be seeing Oboy, and the winner will go up against X9 in round 3 of the higher bracket. And that's going to be really interesting to see how this progresses. Got one more stream up ahead for round 2, but yeah, that's going to conclude the matchup for today. Regardless, I will extend my gratitude especially to Milay and Pikz and Fluffy, the 3 that were able to turn up last second or immediately, essentially. Milay, I turned on my phone, I saw 36 messages by Milay. I thought, okay, what did I do? What did she do? But yeah, then it were 36 at Mathis in my DMs. But yeah, here shows she's been solely reffing this in the background, so that was absolutely fantastic. I saw Maxolotl join her later on. I'm not sure if he contributed as well, but yeah, Milay just absolutely carrying refereeing in the background, as well as taking care of the scoreboard live that you saw on screen, so that was also thanks to her. Your focus on casting. Oh yeah, Pikz also just within 15 minutes updating the designs you see on stream, so neither of us expected this was going to happen, because yeah, Pikz and I originally planned to stream Survivor Friends on my stream, on my channel, but yeah, then Revival Divisions League is calling. So drop everything that I had prepared and invest my undivided attention into this org, because that comes first, obviously. Big thank you to everybody else who's been working on it, but yeah, the Revival Divisions League brought to you by me and James, so thank you everybody who's been tuning in. Thank you to the audience especially, also for yeah, putting up with the reschedule, because this match was supposed to take place originally tomorrow as well. Thank you to Wolfi for moderating the chat, very, very grateful for that as well. I hope I covered everybody. If not, yell at me after, and I'll make amends the next stream. But yes, thank you everybody oh so much for watching. And that is going to be Mathis signing out. Until next time on Wednesday, if you're in Europe, Tuesday, if you're in America, and if you're in Australia, it's going to be a good early morning if you decide to tune in. Until next time, just play the trailer.